Kia ora and welcome to MAP Projects presentation today. Potential engineering students who might like to work for MAP sometime in the future or exploring your career options. We've got a little presentation which myself and Andy will run through today. So myself as Mark Prater, I'm the owner and director of the MAP Projects business. And Andy is our commercial manager who's been a big hand in putting our presentation together today and running a number of our projects across the North Island. So just while Andy's getting that up on screen, one of the first things we're going to talk about is what MAP can offer to yourselves, and really important things for me in terms of engineering is that we attract the right people to our business and we give them the opportunities to grow and develop. My own experience as a young engineering graduate some 30 odd years ago, was given the opportunity to participate in construction projects and on a fast track program to project manager. So within 3 years of graduating university, I was actually running my own projects in Australia, and then thankfully made my way across to New Zealand a little bit later in my career, and have been working in New Zealand since 1997. We're very much a practical, hands-on business, and you'll see the engineering graduates. We've got some graduates and some interns in some of the videos that do work for us currently. Participating in all sorts of skills, from machine operation through to rebar tying and setting up formwork, just as part of that real practical knowledge, so you know what works in the delivery of our projects. How you going there, Andy? You got that ready to come up?
Sorry, not so good because.
Not so good. I'll keep talking.
As I
you keep working. I'll keep talking.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So MAP has a solid history. We were founded in 2006 in the Ruapea district, so Central Plateau, where we delivered a lot of projects for Department of Conservation, for Genesis Energy, for Trust Power, and for New Zealand Defence Force at Waiouru. Some really interesting projects. Everything from ammunition storage bunkers to tunnel repairs to building of micro hydro generation schemes. If you just flick back a couple there, Andy. Yep. So what we're really looking to offer the people that come to work with us are the opportunities to grow your learning from a technical aspect to a real world application of the skills that you have, and give you the practical opportunities to develop within our business and be future leaders of the MAP business. We're very unique in that we actually have an opportunity for everyone in the business to actually own some shares in the business and have a say in the direction of where we're heading. Our business has really grown in the last 10 years. Traditionally, we're doubling our growth in every 3 years. So we do create those opportunities for people to grow within our business, to become project managers, to become construction managers, and then potentially to become construction owners down the track. You keep clicking through there, Andy, the next one. Spend a lot of time thinking about our MAP. Why do we actually run a construction business? I spent a lot of time working for big construction businesses back in the day, and then branched out on our own. And why did we do that? It's really that we wanted to create opportunities for people. So very much been an opportunities business. We've given a lot of young kids who were unemployed an opportunity to come to work and learn some skills. We've given a lot of people who haven't had opportunities elsewhere to come and join our business and grow with us. And when we've sat down and really thought about, you know, what are we doing here? What is the MAP why? That's what we've come up with, and we're targeting, our next step is to be building homes for our whānau. So a lot of our crew are Māori Pacific Islander, don't have a lot of educational skills in a lot of cases, and not a lot of opportunity to actually get themselves into their own home. So that's what we've set as our goal for the wider team. I've talked a little bit about this one already. A little bit more. So the organic growth we're talking about is just purely by delivering good quality projects and having repeat clients come back and ask us to do work for us again. Very much in the energy generation space. So we've done work for Contact Energy, for Mercury Energy, for Genesis Energy, for Trust Power, hydro generation, steam generation, and currently a lot of projects offshore. So we've done 5 hydro projects up in Samoa, and we're just on another one in Vanuatu at the moment, which is happening. On the back of that, we've been asked to deliver some transmission line project, which is a new aspect to our delivery, and that's happening over the next 6 months. A bit of scale of the business. We're ISO 9001 certified for quality. We're about to be 14,001. So very shortly we'll head for a 45,001 in terms of our safety as well. Areas that we're working in currently, North Island, although Trust Power do ask us to price work down the South Island from time to time, and offshore in the Pacific Islands, so Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, Vanuatu, but typically hydro generation projects in those spaces. Very much broad-based, heavy civil engineering. We don't build roads, we don't generally build subdivisions, but they are part of our skill set if we need to, because they're part of a larger project. Pretty, who's our performance manager, has put together a pretty good explanation of where MAP's heading over these next slides, and some of our core values, and what we're trying to encourage throughout the business and get better at year on year. Just keep clicking through these next ones, I think, Andy.
I can talk a little bit about this if you want, Mark, just in terms of the career progression that we probably look for with a graduate, in terms of starting as an intern, sort of with holiday work and things like that, or coming on board as a graduate engineer or a site engineer, and then going through and doing that, you'd have be assisting on projects, assisting the project manager for that, learning a lot of the just basic project management skills, I guess, in terms of plans and planning, set outs, materials, getting all that sort of stuff, contract documents, reading and understanding those, assisting there where you need to, day-to-day management of the site, just understanding that, and controlling the work crews and learning off them as well. We expect our new engineers to sort of muck in and certainly help out and work on the gear, work with the guys, understand the sort of the practical side of what they're building and how that works in terms of the sort of technical knowledge and how the two marry up together. We think that's quite important sort of going forward, so that people can really understand how we build things and how the work crews actually put these things together off a plan. Yeah, leading health and safety, obviously, big element there, and making sure that the quality of the job is maintained with the systems, and then preparing reports and all that sort of stuff. So throughout that process, it's just getting more experience over the years, or months, I suppose, depending on how quick people move and how quickly they pick things up. And then the aim would be from going to a site engineer would be to a project engineer. So some of those tasks just start to expand. It's the same stuff. It's just with a slightly broader base that you'll be covering as a project engineer, and then beyond that into a project manager. So you then have control of your own site as a project manager. So that would initially be, as a project engineer, you might get given a small site, maybe a couple of $100,000 worth of work, something like that, just to cut your teeth on, and something that you can call your own and push through, with the support obviously around you of other project managers and the construction manager and some of the other people in the team. And then, yeah, those projects would just progress over the years as you get more experienced into $4 or $5 million jobs fairly quickly, I'd say. And then, yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit basically after that with the types of jobs that we've got. We can go up to $20 million projects at the moment once you're a bit further down the track and perhaps in a senior project manager's role. And then again, after you get to that point, it's looking at where else in a construction company would you like to work, whether it's an operations manager or a construction manager looking after all the other project managers, or like myself, a commercial manager. So I started as a site engineer basically back in the UK, and then came on board with a company over in New Zealand, Higgins, building roads for 10, 12 years as a project manager. Worked my way up through that system, construction manager, then construction manager here at MAP, and now on to commercial manager. So there's a lot of different avenues you can follow, but the project management gives you all the basics that cover those roles, and it gives you the real good grounding that you need to step into anything else in the future as your career develops. So I'll pass back to Mark now. I think he was going to talk to some of these slides. You there, Mark?
Yep. Sorry, mate, just the mute button. For young players.
All good.
Yeah. So just some slides. The next few slides, we're just going to flick through reasonably quickly. It's about what our vision is, where we're heading, what we're trying to achieve with our business and for our people. So a little bit of an insight into our direction, where we're tracking. Certainly, our vision is really important to us, and that appears from our MAP Y, where we're heading with that, and really getting engagement across the team, so we have all the skills that exist within our business to build houses, and we're just implementing that through this structure. So the LR-Con is a housing. MAP Hire in itself owns about $8 million worth of construction equipment, everything from crawler cranes down to 1.5 ton excavators, dump trucks, right across the range. So we perform as much of our works as we can in-house. So we have skilled people working across those, and as an engineer, you'll be leading some of those teams and helping explain some of the technical challenges on the drawings, and the learnings that you've had will be applied across that. And MAP Group Holdings is what we've set up to have a stake in all of those. So as employees of the MAP business, there'll be an opportunity to actually own some shares in that and what we're trying to deliver across the group. Click on, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, just trying. It's not playing ball. There we go.
So a little, just some notes there around what the MAP was and is going into the future in each of those little divisions. So MAP Projects is a company that employs all our people, does all our contracting work. The MAP Hire owns all our equipment, which works basically solely for MAP Projects now. LR-Con is something that we've set up in the past year just to build the homes for our whānau and our charitable arm on that. So a lot of our employees, being Māori and Pacific Islander, actually have access to Māori funding or government funding avenues to help them get into homes. So that's really to tie in with that vision of the why, to help us get there and actually be delivering what we've committed to our employees to do. And the MAP Group actually, just as an overall holding of everything, so that everyone's in the one waka together, paddling in the same direction.
Okay, thanks, Mark. So we were just going to talk a little bit about some of the projects we've had recently, just to give a bit of a flavour of the type of stuff that we do and the type of jobs that if you did want to come on board with MAP projects that you would be involved in. So it's quite wide and varied, like Mark says. Heavy civil engineering type jobs, challenging jobs are kind of what we really like to focus on. Something that's not run of the mill, something that's going to take a bit of thinking about, quite a lot of problem solving, all that sort of thing. So this job here on screen at the moment, this was in Hamilton, some revetment works along the riverbank there. So it involved replacing an existing timber jetty and gangway with a new structure, which you can just see at the top of the left-hand picture there. So that's a new gangway that was installed and a new pontoon that was a floating pontoon attached to piles that were driven into the riverbed there. So that was a crane onto a barge to insert those piles into the riverbed, and then everything, the pontoon sort of built and attached around those. That was one part of the works, and then we there's about 2,000 cube of earthworks to remove the face of the riverbank there, as you can see, and then it was 1,100 concrete blocks placed along the riverbank to form the sort of steps that go down into the water, so people can sit there. And it's next to the rowing club, so you know, at events and regattas and things that they have, there's an area for people to sit and watch what's going on. One of the issues we found, first of all, right at the start of the job, was just the support that those blocks and things would have at the bottom, and just there were some concerns raised about the stability of the riverbank itself in terms of holding the weight of those blocks and all that concrete up without it slipping into the river. So there was after some discussions with MAP and some suggestions put forward, it was agreed to install sheet piles right the way along the 300-metre length section, with capping beams over the top of those, and then that would sort of create the foot that was required for those steps and those blocks to sit up against, and make sure that they've got the integrity to stay where they should do. So yeah, that was they were driven in with a 14-ton digger as we progressed along there. Quite a lot of environmental issues with obviously being in the river, and you can see on the left-hand side there that picture, the boom to hold any silt that was created during the excavations and that sort of thing. So we had to be very mindful of that, where we refueled the gear, all that sort of stuff, whilst we were doing the construction. And then there was some stormwater work in there as well, some existing culverts that came out. So there's some tidy up of there, some replacement of some of the larger pipes that needed to come out through the block wall, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, once they got into a bit of a routine, the crews, they went really well. It's sort of rinse repeat, I guess. Once they got going, worked out the best way to do it and to get a good finish. And in the end, it's turned out into a really tidy job that Hamilton City Council very pleased with, and looks really, really smart. So the bottom right-hand photo there is kind of finished product. The grass has grown a bit more now, so it does actually look a little bit better again. Yeah, being well used by the community and everyone like that as well. So not very good project to be involved in. Not a huge project, but yeah, a good one, highly visible to the public and council, and a good outcome for all. This is the Tatua Dairy Factory. So Mark, talk a bit about this one.
Yeah, so Tatua Dairy Factory is a wastewater treatment plant upgrade for Tatua Dairy to improve the quality of their wastewater. So the ultimate aim for Tatua is to get to a stage where they can treat their water to a standard where it can be returned to river. So dairy production, or producing your milk, uses a hell of a lot of water. And part of this process was to actually significantly improve the existing facility that they had for discharge to land, and then the future stages will be another clarifier to improve the standard again to allow for discharge to river. Value of $10 million, but in reality the client provided a lot of client supplied equipment. So true value, construction value is around about $15 or $16 million. Significant earthworks to start with, and then a number of buildings with dewatering, clarifier, and electrical installs. So full civil, mechanical, electrical install, which is something we do pretty well at. And that project was commissioned in October last year. Is all operational. Clients extremely happy with what they've got, and we're hopeful that we'll pick up some more work to do their future clarifiers in that project. Just some of our gear with the crawler crane I talked about there, and work on the clarifier that was very significant structure, and feedback from the engineer on that one was that it's actually the best constructed clarifier he's seen in his 30 years of looking over these schemes. So quality of the work certainly is going to stand the test of time.
Okay, and we just got a video here of one of our young site engineers just talking about his experience with MAP, and yeah, how he's sort of come through the ranks, I guess, because it's hopefully be quite relatable to some of you who might be interested in coming on board.
Hi, my name is Patrick, and I'm currently studying civil engineering at the University of Waikato. I'm working part-time for MAP projects while I can also. I first started working with MAP when I was fresh out of school, probably about 2.5 years ago. I went over to Pond G, started working out as a trainee machine operator / general hand on the ground, and then moved over to Tatua to work on a wastewater treatment plant over there. While I was on that job, the project engineer / project manager knew I had done fairly well in school, and I was looking to go back to university, so he started giving me little engineering-ish jobs to do while I was on that project as well, like reading the plans, setting out GPS work, as-builts, QA, and that sort of thing, as well as pricing up variations and that sort of thing as well. So towards the end of that project, I was working pretty much half-time on the ground and half in the office, learning all about what it's like being an engineer and a project manager and that sort of thing. After that, I moved over to Aotearoa to work on a dairy factory extension out there. I did pretty much the same sort of thing there, and then went off to study at university. While I've been studying, MAP have been really nice and flexible with me, giving me work during the holidays, and also whenever I have spare time during the week and that sort of thing as well. After I graduate as a civil engineer, I'll keep going with MAP, and I can see various opportunities for myself, whether it be a project engineer or maybe even a project manager in the future. I'd recommend MAP because they've been very flexible with me. I've worked on a great deal of variety of projects and many new interesting experiences, and they've given me great opportunities to challenge myself and learn new things and extend my skills as a professional and as a person as well. They're a great team to work with. Hi, my name is Patrick, and I'm currently studying civil engineering at the University.
So yeah, back to another one of our projects which we've just completed this year. So this was for Tauranga City Council. It was it's called stormwater upgrades for the Nanako stream. So basically, this is a road embankment that sort of crossed a valley, and there was an existing 900 stormwater pipe taking a stream underneath that road. And in some of the council work, they've found out, as they have done all over the country recently, that a lot of these road embankments are actually acting or could potentially be acting as a dam, but they've not been designed and built as a dam. So this was the upgrade of this area to enable it to actually work properly as a dam if that was required in a major storm event. It involved a lot of preloading of either side of the road, so the upstream and the downstream sides, with a lot of material, about 2,500 cube material. Then that was monitored for settlement over a certain period, and then once that settlement had leveled out to the acceptable standards, then we could get in and crack on with the job, which involved putting a 2.5 meter steel pipe, thrusting that beneath the road. It had originally been in the designs to open cut that, but it's actually quite a busy road, and the depth of the cut and the size of the pipe would have meant an enormous hole basically, and keeping the road closed for a very long period of time. So again, MAP sort of put our thinking caps on and came up with an idea to see whether we could actually thrust this pipe beneath the road and maintain the road staying open for all that time, which is what happened in the end. And so a variation to the contract at the start to enable that to happen. Yeah, and then so the first work once the preload came off was to install the thrust bit on the upstream side. You can see that on the bottom left photo there. So that's a sheet piled thrust bit to give the support down in the ground, and the concrete lined wall at the back for the thrusting machine to actually work off. And then each 6 meter length of steel pipe was then pushed under the road. Then the next section put in place, welded on, and then that was pushed in, so the whole length continued to grow as it was pushed under the road as far as they could go. And then they got to a certain point until the friction became too much, and that's when they have to auger out the center of the pipe and bring all that material back out, excavate that out, take it out, and then then they could kick on and carry on thrusting those pipes through until they daylighted the other side. So once it came out the other side, there's another 2 6 meter lengths of plastic pipe added on that downstream side. There's 44 steel H-beams piles driven in on the downstream side as well, which you can see on the right hand side photo there. So they're installed using a crane with a vibro unit on the top of that, and being held with the digger at the bottom as well to keep those in place. And that's with the traffic next to the road. You can see how close that was. So high traffic management and things like that to organize, and that was to stabilize that downstream embankment to make that strong enough for the dam itself. There was a lot of concrete chambers and the existing stormwater pipes that needed to be picked up and put into larger capacity chambers. We had a precast panels that created a chamber that we built ourselves. Each one of those panels was about 8 ton that we then had to lower into the hole and build the chamber from that. So that was quite a challenge in doing that. Quite a tight site, not much space, a lot of groundwater. Every time we dug down, we'd be having to pump out and deal with groundwater a lot of the time. And then, yeah, the final side was, you can see top left, I guess that's downstream. So that's the 2.5 meter pipe that's come out downstream. Had to install that wing wall there, which was some precast panels and some stitch bores as well. So quite a challenge lowering all those into place. Underneath the water there, there's the apron slab of that wing wall too. And then on the upstream, above that as well, is what's called an F2 filter layer, which is like a sand layer, which allows any water to run through if there is any ingress through any of the ground on that downstream side. And then on the upstream side, it was basically filling back in around the big chambers and everything else that we put in place around that 2.5 meter pipe, picking up all the stormwater, like I said. And then a low permeability clay layer over the front. So that's the material that will hold the water back if there is ever an event where it wouldn't get up that high and flood the whole valley. But now, that embankment now is a dam, and it will do the job if there isn't any event, and save the road from washing away and potentially other further problems downstream, obviously, if there was a big release of water that was backed up from there. So, yeah, another good project with Tauranga City Council that's gone very well. They're very happy with the finished outcome. Good quality job. And, we've got another couple coming up with them as well, similar sort of jobs as on the back of this, and the experience that we're having with them at the moment. So, good client relationship there. And then this is our Vanuatu job, which again, Mark will talk about. This is going on at the moment up in the islands.
Yep. So Vanuatu is back to me. So this is another hydro generation project. Little bit of background. So we're up on the island of Malakula, which is got a population of about 22,000 people. Only 5% of them have access to reticulated power, which we would take for granted, and very few have generator access. So generally no power, subsistence living, farming in the hills to keep food on the table. This is a pretty significant project. overseas, funded by Asia Development Bank, and it's not a huge scheme of power output. So 450 kilowatts is enough, they believe, to actually provide power to half the island for the next 10 years. The value is actually increased significantly because of the amount of overhead transmission line that is being installed on Malakula and on Santo. So our supervisors in New Zealand actually take time to go up there, and we only take supervisor expats. So as a site engineer, project engineer might have an opportunity to do that. Go up there and help lead a team of locals and actually pass on some of the skills that we have learnt in New Zealand to local crews up there who have never actually seen any of this, and in fact have to teach them the very basics, like putting a seatbelt on a car is where we're starting from up there. So to see these local crew up there now pouring concrete and tying reinforcing steel to the same standards as we would in New Zealand is certainly very satisfying. And this one's just a very logistical challenging project. The island stuff is coming in on a barge, so the picture on the bottom left there is actually landing a lot of our initial equipment on the beach near the project. We've had about 15 barge loads of equipment come in so far, and we've got another 6 stacked up for the transmission line over the next couple of months. We're building a pipe on a very narrow ledge, so that middle photo on the left is actually the ledge where we're working to lay the pipe, and that drops away to the jungle valley below, which is probably about a 70-metre drop away. So it's some very tight little area to be working in, and projects actually nearing completion. We expect to be going up there in July, and sometime in August we should be actually starting to make some power. Space we really operated in, and have another project in Samoa that potentially could come our way in the next little while. So there's certainly that opportunity, consistently with MAP, to do work in the Pacific to a good standard and actually produce outcomes for people, which in my mind is what engineering is really all about, doing things to actually create a better life for the people we associate with.
Cool, and we've got a video here. This is Baden. It's one of our PMs over in Vanuatu.
Hi, my name's Baden. I've worked for MAP for 12 years now. I started when I was 18. I was supposed to go to uni, but I enjoyed working for MAP so much that I stuck around for 12 years. I'm a site manager at the moment. This is my second project where I've been site manager. The first one was in Samoa to build another hydro in Savai'i. MAP has given me heaps of opportunities to work on hydro projects across New Zealand and the Pacific. MAP is a very family-orientated company. They offered my wife a position in health and safety and quality assurance on this project. At the moment, we're both stuck here due to COVID, and we spend a lot of quality time together, which is good. Even though she's holding me hostage to do this interview and is currently standing behind the camera. But I do love my job. I love what I do. Yeah. This is the new Greenway Hydro Power Station in Malakula, Vanuatu. Come have a look. Hi, my name's Baden.
So there's another couple of jobs here. I don't know whether Mark wants to talk about those. We're probably a little bit pushed for time, but yeah, just some other similar sort of projects that we've done in the past.
I think we just keep ticking on, Andy.
Yeah. We've got another video here of Jono, who's one of our project managers. Again, just with a bit of a lowdown of how he's come up through the company as well and his experience.
Yeah, g'day. My name's Jono. I've worked with Matt for about 2.5 years, and right now I'm underneath the Rangapo Dam in the central North Island, and I'll take you for a little tour in a second. 2.5 years with Matt, I've built roads in Aotearoa. I've been involved with large-scale earthworks and the installation of concrete stormwater pipes in a military base in Palmerston North. I've managed abseilers and divers who are undertaking repairs on a different dam in the central North Island in Lake Aotearoa. I've built a flood wall in Tauranga to protect some neighbouring houses from some floods. And this project here finds me in Rangapo Dam. We're undertaking some repairs to the basin of the dam, to the sluice basin, and we're about 1/3 of the way through the project. In terms of ongoing advancement, I guess the best learning is actually on the job learning, and that's where most of my learnings come from. It's from learning on the job, from learning from the rest of the team that's around, and that's from everyone that's on the job site, from the crews, from the site managers, from the leading hands, from the more senior project managers that have come down and given me a hand when I've needed it. That is the best type of learning that can occur, and is the best type of learning I've had. On a separate note, I felt I needed to upskill in a few areas, and I said to the boss one day that I'd enrolled in some Massey courses, and I undertook some postgraduate study, which is probably not a good thing to say at a rival university's careers evening. But the boss was supportive and said that he'd support that in whatever way he can. So that's pretty cool. So that's about it from me. I think I guess in closing, if I was a young or not so young, if I was a recent graduate and I was looking for a company that would give me autonomy, that would give me the freedom to learn, and I didn't mind putting in a bit of hard work myself, and I didn't mind trying to forge my own path. And if I was looking for a company that would give me a solid grounding in a really varied and wide range of construction and engineering activities, then I'd probably give the boss a call. So good luck with whatever it is you're doing, and that's it from Rangapo Dam. Cheers. I just finished doing that recording in the sluice of the Rangapo Dam, and you can't actually see the mountain right now. It's a bit of cloud around, but I just was driving out and I thought that I do get to work in some pretty cool places with MAP, and I'm not knocking it for those that are that way inclined, but working outside and working in this type of construction is infinitely better than spending a lifetime in an office figuring out bending moments. So thought I'd chuck that in there as a little plug to see if we can see Ruapehu in the background. Not quite, but it's pretty cool out here on the Central Plateau, so cheers.
So this is some of the MAP team. Did you want me to talk about this, Mark? I can just quickly go.
Yeah, head on, Andy.
Yeah. So Mark he's introduced himself and myself there. We've got Pretty, who would have been on today, but yeah, unfortunately can't make that because of illness. But yeah, you can see the names there. Won't mean much, but it's just a good example of the team that we've got, and the way that we all working together, and hopefully sort of cover all bases and help each other. My time here, I've found that you can go to anyone and ask for help when you need it. Get a bit of direction and all that sort of stuff. It's a real team, and as a few there mentioned, a real family company where we look after people. That's the people is the most important thing. And take some real pride in our work and solving problems as a team as well. So, oops. Did you want to talk a little bit more about the future that some grads might have, Mike?
We talked a little bit at the start about the opportunities with MAP, and I guess that currently we've got young Patrick as an intern who was on the interview there, and also got Toby, who's a recent graduate working for us on a dam up in Matawai in Northland, which is building a reservoir storage for horticulture and for supplying secure water to Kaikoui. So there are our two most recent examples. Jono, who was on that latest one, has come to us after a career in Army and for one of the regional councils, and he's really enjoying, obviously, the work out in the natural environment and the things that we do. We're looking to build our team in the graduate and the intern space to help attract the best brains to MAP and help them be successful as our business grows. So currently we would be in the end of this year looking for 2 graduates to join our team and to have some experiences that Patrick and Toby and others have. And it's a real pleasure for me and for the management team to see our younger people grow as we give them the opportunities and a little bit of guidance and some knowledge transfer. We're also looking for interns. Obviously, over the summer is our busiest month. So if you're in a space where you're looking around and thinking what you might like to do for some experience over the summer break, certainly get in touch with us as well. Patrick's at a rival university, but he's following that path. So he came and did his gap year with us as a full year, just labouring and learning all about it, and then decided it was worth his while going back to university. And he's come and worked for us in the past 2 summers, so he'll be an ongoing right through his career. So you're going to see number of experienced people around in the photos up there in the MAP team, and we're just really looking to get some younger people who we can help guide and mentor through the engineering pathway as they develop their career, and hopefully the people that do come on board with us will stay us long term. It's a key focus for us to keep people working with MAP and happy working with MAP, because the longer we stay together, the better we all get together. So that's kind of it for me, Andy. I think it's probably time for some questions.
Yep. I'm not sure if there's anyone listening that wants to ask any questions or anything like that. I'll just jump out of this presentation so I can see what's going on in Zoom.
You've just got one in the chat there.
Can you see that, Mark? Sorry, I'm just trying to reorganize my screens to see this stuff. How many intern roles do we have, like what Patrick did? So like Mark mentioned, I think we're looking for 2 grads, correct, Mark? And then, yeah, potentially holiday interns as well, just to get experience and hopefully get a bit of a flavour of what MAP does. South Island, we haven't got anything in the South Island at the moment, but that's not to say that won't be the case in the future. Yeah, it really depends on what comes up and our appetite for the type of work. Like we say, we're certainly up for a challenge. We go out to the islands, so there's certainly no reason why we won't be in the South Island if the right job comes along. Would that be fair, Mark?
That would certainly be correct.
The chemical and process engineers, I'll probably defer to Mark a little bit on that, I think, just in terms of what the opportunity might be in that space or not.
Yeah, so process engineering is certainly part of some of our deliveries, and I guess that what we like to do again is to give people an opportunity. So it might be a slightly different career path than you might have been expecting starting out with process. I mean, certainly our hydro generation and our Tatua engineering projects have some applications in there for a mechanical or process space, and it just really sits down and says, well, that's a discussion. So you'd like to go into a little bit more detail and say, well, this is where I would like to head as a graduate. Is there something that MAP can provide me as a career path that kind of matches that? You've got some learning through university. It's just how we can actually apply that. And as an example, I guess engineers are quite good risk managers. And if you go back in time to when I started my university education in the real world, the 4 major banks in Australia actually had civil engineers as their CEOs. So what you're learning at the moment is certainly transportable across a wide variety of fields, and what you are learning is really the discipline to keep learning and to understand tasks and apply those to where you want to take your career. So I would say yes, there's some opportunities. It would just be a matter of sit down and work through that in a little bit more detail.
One person we haven't mentioned is our design manager, actually, Dan, who's another reasonably young grad who does a lot of our temporary works designs and things like that, especially with some of the stuff that we've had to put together in Vanuatu. So yeah, there's a broad base of opportunity in MAP, that's for sure. Like Mark says, it's certainly a company where if there's something that you think you can provide value for MAP, then and can convince Mark or others that that's the case, then yeah, there's you can get the green light to do that as well. It's the opportunities are always there if there is something to provide value, I'd say.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. You guys, we're just coming up on that 50-minute mark now. I think the not large number of questions because you guys covered pretty much everything. It's good seeing those up close videos as well, like that was mentioned in the chat.
No, cool. So yeah, if anyone's interested, we've got you can just Google MAP Projects. Obviously, we've got a website there with contact details and that sort of thing in as well. So yeah, drop us a line and get in touch, and it'll be good to hear from some of you, most definitely.
You can also get in contact with the careers team at the University of Canterbury.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks for your time very much. Appreciate it.